Hey, what's going on everyone? Just Tompkins here. Welcome to the very first voting video for the Artist of the Week weekly segment. And I'm pretty excited by this, so let's get started. So we have 3 artists. I chose 3 artists for this first week. Let's get to it. The first artist up for voting are, well, should I say the first artists, because it's a band. They're all bands for this week. The first one, the Beatles. Now, the Beatles heavily influenced me. When I first started playing guitar, I listened to nothing but the Beatles, but eventually I started listening to other artists. And now I do know how to play many Beatles songs, so I hope if the Beatles do win for this week, that you will enjoy the many songs that I know how to play and just how brilliant they were back then when they wrote the songs. Because they were a 1960s British rock and roll band, or you can call them a British rock band. But they just had a great voice, and I also remember seeing something in one of the classrooms at my school that said like early failures, and it mentioned the Beatles that they were turning down. I forgot the exact record label, but they said it wasn't what they were looking for. I think it was a record label in England, and the Beatles got turned down from that record label. And it's ironic since they eventually got really famous and became one of the most popular British rock groups of the 1960s. So that is the first candidate. The second candidate for this voting video is an American rock and roll group. Maybe, I don't know if they're country or not, mostly rock. Creedence Clearwater Revival. What's special about them is, before I started taking lessons, the very first song that I know the name of it now, but back then I didn't know it, the first song I ever heard my dad play on guitar by Creedence was Born on the Bayou, and I was like, dang, that's a very good song. Now, this group didn't last as long as the Beatles, from 67 or 68 to the early 70s, like 72 or 73. I don't know the exact date, but they didn't last as long as the Beatles, but somewhat, to the extent that they were just as famous as the Beatles almost. And they had many albums, which I know many of their songs, and those songs are really great. I also know how to play many of their songs on guitar, just like the Beatles. And you can probably guess by the next artist that I'll be saying the same thing about how I know how to play most of their songs, because they also influenced me along with Creedence. And I haven't mentioned the third one yet, but the next one, I'm just going to say just early in this video that this next band even influenced me further back, many years before I even wanted to learn how to play guitar, back when I was a toddler. But anyway, let's get back to Creedence Clearwater Revival. After hearing Born on the Bayou, I decided to try to listen to some of their other albums with many dozens of their other songs that they've written over their career before they broke up. And I decided to try to learn how to play them, and the music just also influenced me, because there was also a time when I got hooked on Creedence and I listened to almost nothing but Creedence. And same goes for this next band, because I also had a very long period of time when I got hooked on their music and wanted to play nothing and listen to the songs on their albums. So let's get to the third candidate for this week. Third candidate is the Steve Miller Band, which, as I mentioned earlier, I heard their music even way before I wanted to play guitar, back when I was little, probably between ages anywhere from 2 years to 7 years old, between that time frame. And It's when I had to wear a booster seat in the van. So probably when I was between 3 to 4 years old, 2 to 4 years old. I remember going down the highway with my dad and my family, and he'd be playing Steve Miller songs. I remember some of the songs he played because they sounded familiar later on when I started listening to the Steve Miller Band. Songs like Fly Like an Eagle, but the two most influential ones that I do clearly remember listening to by them when I was still a toddler are Jungle Love and what was the other one? We've been working on Swing Town. Sorry. Took me a moment there to remember the name. Swing Town and Jungle Love, those are the two songs I really remember listening to in the car, driving down the highway with my dad and my family, and they just influenced me later on. And like I said, there was that's probably the most recent time I got hooked on a band was Steve Miller, because I listened to their Fly Like an Eagle album, the Abracadabra. That was a good song. I remember listening to it on like a music video on YouTube, or just the person played the song and some people were hating on the song because they said it was a dreaded disco era. I'm like, come on, this song ain't too bad. I actually kind of like the song and I actually know how to play it. So anyway, those are the 3 candidates for this week. Hope you enjoyed the background information I gave on each and every one of them. Oh yeah, I didn't actually give too much background on the Steve Miller Band. They were a band back in the early to late 70s. I think there's Steve Miller, I don't know if his original band is still playing today, or if he's with new people and he's still performing the same songs, but Steve Miller himself, the lead singer of the band, is still performing today, and he's still a great singer. So, like I said, they were mainly really popular from all the 70s, like early 70s into the 80s, early to mid 80s. But they really influenced me with their music that they wrote from the 70s and the very early infant years of the 80s. And I think that would wrap up the background information for Steve Miller Band. So, just to review the candidates for this week. First one, the Beatles. Second one, Creedence Clearwater Revival. And the third candidate is Steve Miller Band. So, leave a comment down in the comment section below on who do you want me to see play a different song each day by that artist, the same artist. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see future videos of mine. If you subscribe, I will personally be thankful for you, even if it's just if I go up 1 subscriber. If I hit 20 plus subs, I'll make a video on thanking you guys, and I will try to read up as many names as possible of the people that have subscribed to me. I'll do shout outs. I'll do the same thing with 100 subscribers, 500, 1,000, etc. The pattern that a lot of people go by. But anyway, leave your vote down in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe if you want, and I will come back at you with another video on late Sunday evening or late Sunday afternoon when I tally up all the votes. Make sure to vote, because if no one votes, it's going to be hard to try to determine a winner. Because I know some of my friends that I'll tell the video about will probably leave a comment in this comment section on who they want to see me play. Like my friend James Muir, another friend of mine who has a YouTube channel of his own, but it's a gaming channel, Mr. Crazy Gamer 13. I'll tell him about that. Hopefully he'll vote. And yeah, make sure to vote. I will see you guys later.